In a quiet little village nestled deep within the mountains of China, there stood a towering peak known as Heaven Peak, the mountain of the sky. To the villagers, it was more than a majestic natural wonder. It was a sacred symbol, a bridge between earth and the heavens. For generations, they had dreamed of building a temple at its summit, a place where their prayers could rise straight into the sky and touch the divine. But the path to the top of Heaven Peak was unforgiving. Steep cliffs, jagged rocks, and a veil of mist that never fully lifted made the ascent seem impossible. Most believed that no human could ever set foot on its highest point, let alone carve a staircase reaching all the way to the heavens. Then one day, the village elders issued a bold challenge. Whoever can build a staircase to the summit will bring great honor to our entire village. Their announcement spread like wildfire. Conversations buzzed in every home, excitement filled the streets, and the impossibility of the dream suddenly felt just a little closer. The thought of touching the sky ignited a quiet yet powerful fire in the hearts of the villagers, a fire that was waiting for someone to answer the call. News of the challenge to build a staircase spread through the village like a fresh gust of mountain wind, filling everyone with excitement. While people were still whispering and debating who might dare take on such an impossible task, a young man stepped forward. His name was Wei, known far and wide as the strongest in the region. His broad shoulders, firm grip, and confident voice made him seem destined for greatness. Before the eager eyes of the villagers, Wei lifted his chin proudly and declared, "I will reach the summit faster than anyone." The crowd erupted in cheers. With his strength and fearless spirit, they were certain he would be the hero who would bring honor to their village. But then, unexpectedly, another figure emerged from the crowd, a frail, elderly woman slowly making her way forward. It was Lin, a widowed grandmother who had lived quietly for years. Her back was bent and her hands trembled with age. When she announced she would also join the challenge, laughter rippled through the villagers. "She struggles just to draw water from the well," they whispered. "How can she climb a mountain, let alone build a staircase?" Yet Lin simply smiled, gentle and unwavering. She didn't defend herself, nor did she boast. She spoke only one simple sentence, a sentence that carried quiet strength. "Each day I will carry one stone." A small promise, but the beginning of a miracle. The work began early the next morning. Wei was the first to appear, carrying massive stones so heavy that even two grown men would struggle to lift them. He climbed the mountain with fierce determination, every step filled with the desire to prove his strength and talent to the entire village. Day after day, Wei added a few more giant rocks to the first steps of his staircase, shouting proudly so everyone would notice his progress. The villagers cheered him on with admiration, convinced that he was destined to win. Meanwhile, old Mrs. Lin quietly prepared a single small stone each day, carefully wrapping it in a worn cloth before making her way up the mountainside. Her pace was slow but steady. She never made noise, never sought attention. One stone a day, light, simple, but she never missed a single morning. As time passed, Wei's staircase grew quickly, large and impressive, earning the praise of everyone who passed by. In contrast, Mrs. Lin's tiny stones seemed insignificant, barely noticeable. Many looked at her effort and thought it was simply too little. But no one knew that those small, quiet steps were slowly shaping a future none of them could imagine. But time soon began to wear down Wei's enthusiasm. After the first few weeks of fiery determination, his strength faded little by little. On cold mornings he overslept and skipped the climb entirely. Some days he simply stood at the foot of the mountainside and told himself, "I'll rest today. Tomorrow I'll work twice as hard." But tomorrow came and passed. The giant stones he once carried with pride now lay scattered at the base of the mountain, covered in dust, forgotten and untouched. In contrast, Mrs. Lin never stopped. Whether under the burning summer sun, the biting autumn wind, the heavy winter snow, or the soaking spring rain, she continued her steady climb up Heaven Peak every single day. Her legs trembled, her body tired, yet one familiar whisper echoed in her heart. Just one more stone, just one. Day after day, her slow, deliberate steps carved a path of unwavering dedication. She wasn't in a hurry. She didn't compare herself to anyone. She never entertained the thought of quitting. Each stone she placed was a quiet reminder that simple, consistent effort, silent, patient, and persistent, holds a power far greater than any burst of short-lived intensity. Time continued to pass quietly, and the small but unwavering efforts of old Lin slowly began to bear fruit. Days turned into months, and months flowed into years. No one noticed that the tiny stones she carried each day had steadily formed a solid path. Then one early morning, as the first rays of sunlight brushed over the peak, the sound of a bell echoed from Heaven Peak. The entire village froze. People stepped out of their homes and looked up, only to be struck with disbelief. A stone staircase stretched from the foot of the mountain all the way to the temple at the summit. Complete, steady, majestic, and breathtakingly beautiful. The wind swept across the steps as if offering its blessings, while the bell's chime rang out like a voice touching the sky. This masterpiece did not belong to Wei, the man once celebrated as the strongest in the village. It belonged to Lin, the widow they had laughed at, doubted, and dismissed. The villagers walked toward her and bowed deeply. You were not the strongest nor the fastest, but your persistence built the path to the heavens. Amid the crowd, Wei lowered his head, finally understanding the lesson life had just taught him. From that day forward, the path Lin built was given a name of deep reverence: the Stairway of Patience. News of the miraculous story spread far beyond the small mountain village, and travelers from distant lands began journeying to Heaven Peak, not merely to admire the view, but to set foot on the very steps crafted by an old widow's quiet perseverance. They came seeking not just scenery but the spirit embedded in each stone. Every piece a day of effort, a moment of fatigue conquered, a victory over oneself. Lin's story soon became a timeless lesson passed down through generations. That those who rely only on bursts of effort rarely go far, and that true achievement belongs to those who repeat small steps every single day without giving up. The storyteller ended with a gentle reminder: carry your stone today, then carry one more tomorrow, and piece by piece you will build your own mountain of success. Because in the end, persistence will always outshine talent. The story of old Lin did not remain within the borders of the small village beneath Heaven Peak. It became a reminder for anyone weary on their journey. Success is not born from sudden bursts of brilliance, but from the steady repetition of small steps taken day after day. Many people begin with enthusiasm and power, but they stop when obstacles appear, and that is where their dreams fade. But those who, like Lin, stay committed to their own quiet, steady rhythm, even if it is only one stone a day, will eventually build a path of their own. You do not need to be the strongest. You do not need to be the fastest. You only need to be the one who does not quit. So today, carry your stone. No matter how small, place it on your path. Tomorrow, add another. And a year from now, when you look back, you will realize that those tiny, almost invisible steps have taken you to a place talent alone could never reach. Because in the end, perseverance triumphs over talent, always without exception. The story of old Lin did not remain within the borders of the small village beneath Heaven Peak. It became a reminder for anyone weary on their journey. Success is not born from sudden bursts of brilliance, but from the steady repetition of small steps taken day after day. Many people begin with enthusiasm and power, but they stop when obstacles appear, and that is where their dreams fade. But those who, like Lynn, stay committed to their own quiet, steady rhythm, even if it is only one stone a day, will eventually build a path of their own. You do not need to be the strongest. You do not need to be the fastest. You only need to be the one who does not quit. So today, carry your stone. No matter how small, place it on your path. Tomorrow, add another. And a year from now, when you look back, you will realize that those tiny, almost invisible steps have taken you to a place talent alone could never reach. Because in the end, perseverance triumphs over talent, always without exception. Remember this. The people who create miracles are not the ones who shine only for a few brief moments. True success belongs to those who endure, those who rise each time they are tired, those who keep moving forward even when the road is long and their legs tremble with exhaustion. Lynn did not have the strength of youth, nor speed, nor applause. But she possessed something many talented young people often lack: unyielding perseverance. A small action repeated daily may seem insignificant, but with time, it becomes a mountain of your own making. Just like Lynn's tiny stones, placed one by one, eventually transformed into a stairway that touched the sky. So when you feel you are moving too slowly, remember, slow is still progress. When you think your effort is too small, think of the old woman's story. No one recognizes the power of a single stone, but everyone sees the miracle created by thousands of them. Today, carry just one of your stones. Tomorrow, carry one more. And one day, you will stand on the summit of your own mountain and realize this truth. Perseverance is the path to every great achievement. So, my friend, begin today. Don't wait until you have more time, more energy, or the perfect opportunity to start. Moments like that rarely arrive in full. The only thing you truly have, the only thing you can always count on, is today. Do one small task, take one tiny step, even if it takes just a few minutes. It could be reading a single page, practicing for 5 minutes, finishing a small part of your work, or simply tidying your thoughts and refocusing your mind. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they are the first stones that shape the path you will walk in the future. And when repeated day after day, they slowly make you stronger, wiser, and closer to the dreams you once thought were out of reach. The people who succeed in this world are not necessarily the ones who started better, they are the ones who never stopped. They understand that carrying just one stone a day is enough as long as they keep going. So ask yourself, what is the stone I will carry today? And then one day at a time, you will build your own mountain, steady, proud, and beautifully yours. Remember, your journey does not need to be grand from the beginning. No one ever built a stairway to the heavens in a single night. True success is always the result of countless days of quiet effort. Days when no one sees you, no one cheers for you, and no one believes you are making progress. But still you move forward. Still you place one more stone. In today's world, people are easily drawn to the dazzling, glamorous success stories, instant results, miracles that seem to appear overnight. But those are just the highlights. Behind every achievement lies a long path shaped by discipline, patience, and small steps that never stop. Like old Mrs. Lynn, you don't need to be the strongest to go far. You only need to be the one who refuses to give up. Even if today you move just a single step, finish only a small part, or complete only a simple task, it still matters. One day when you look back, you'll realize that these tiny repeated efforts were the very things that helped you create something far greater than you ever imagined. So keep walking. You are building your own path. It was not the strongest, the fastest, or the most celebrated who triumphed in the end. When the villagers reached the summit of Heaven Peak and saw the completed stone staircase, they stood speechless upon learning that the miracle had been created by none other than Lynn. the frail old woman they once mocked, dismissed, and believed hopeless. No one imagined that a thin, trembling widow with slow, unsteady steps could accomplish what even the village's strongest young man abandoned halfway. Yet it was her quiet perseverance, one stone a day without boasting, without competing, that transformed the impossible into reality. As the villagers touched each stone she had carried with her shaking hands, they finally understood that true strength does not come from muscle or applause. It comes from a steadfast heart that refuses to stop moving forward. That stairway to the sky became a living testament to the truth that sometimes the person most underestimated is the one capable of achieving the extraordinary. From that moment on, Lynn was no longer seen as the old woman carrying stones. She became a symbol, a reminder that miracles are built not by power, but by limitless persistence. When the truth finally came to light, the villagers fell silent, then bowed deeply before Mrs. Lynn. The woman who had once been mocked, doubted, and treated as a burden in the challenge now stood at the mountain's summit as a living symbol of resilience. The eyes that once looked at her with ridicule now shone only with pure admiration for the person who had quietly created a miracle. As they walked up the stone path she built, one small rock at a time, each step felt like a reminder that the greatest strength often comes from the simplest acts. No one remembered the cheering that once surrounded Wei. In that moment, every heart turned toward the elderly woman with profound respect. The young people gazed at her, their eyes bright, as if seeing before them a lifelong example of perseverance that would never fade. The villagers began calling her the one stone a day woman, not as an insult but as a title of honor, celebrating the endurance that had touched the entire community. She had not only completed a path up the mountain, she had built a new belief for the whole village, that humble, unwavering persistence can lead humans to heights once thought impossible. Standing before the stone path leading up to Heaven Peak, Wei could no longer hide the quiet heaviness in his eyes. He stared at the steps that Mrs. Lynn had built, one small stone at a time, and realized that the gap between talent and true achievement was far wider than he had ever imagined. Wei had strength, speed, and the loudest cheers from the very beginning, but none of that had carried him to the end of the journey. Meanwhile, the frail old woman he once believed had no chance had accomplished something extraordinary, something he himself had abandoned halfway. Before him, the lesson carved itself into the stones. Talent may create a brilliant beginning, but only perseverance can carry a person to the finish. He told himself that applause, praise, and momentary power were like thunder, loud and impressive, yet quick to fade. But steady, patient steps taken day after day were like the rain that nourishes the earth. Wei bowed his head, not because he was defeated, but because he finally understood what he had never seen before. Perseverance is the quietest, yet most enduring strength in the world. After the story of Mrs. Lynn spread across the village, the people decided to name the stone path, Path of Patience. The name was not only to honor her remarkable effort but also to remind future generations of the power hidden in small, persistent steps. Travelers from faraway places soon arrived, not just to climb Heaven Peak, but to witness the path built from thousands of stones, each one representing a day Mrs. Lynn refused to give up. They touched the weathered steps and felt the quiet dedication embedded in every crevice. The path was not grand because of its size, but because of the meaning layered within every stone placed atop another. It became a symbol for dreamers who still hesitated, for strugglers who had yet to see results. The Path of Patience whispered a simple truth: miracles are never born in a single moment, they grow from perseverance gathered day by day. From that day on, anyone who set foot on the path carried with them a renewed sense of belief. With patience, even the impossible could become reality. From the day the Path of Patience was completed, The story of Mrs. Lin spread far beyond the small village and slowly became a lesson passed down through generations. Children grew up picturing the hunched old woman taking slow, steady steps, carrying one stone up the mountain each day. Adults reminded one another that success is not built on leaps, but on the quiet consistency of small, persistent actions. The elders told their grandchildren about her journey, a journey without glory, without cheers, marked only by silence and unshakable determination. Night after night, around the warm glow of the hearth, they retold how she climbed the entire path on trembling legs, while her heart never once faltered. And so, her story became a spiritual treasure of the village. It was shared as a source of strength, reminding everyone not to give up when faced with hardship. Whether someone was chasing a grand dream or simply trying to complete small tasks day by day, they always remembered Mrs. Lin, the living proof that quiet perseverance can create miracles that outlast time itself. The greatest message this story leaves behind is simple, yet profoundly powerful. Success does not belong to those who accomplish something extraordinary in a moment. It belongs to those who keep moving forward, even just a little, every single day. Life rarely asks us for grand breakthroughs or spectacular feats. What it truly requires is consistency, resilience, and the courage to continue, even when no one is watching. Mrs. Lin never did anything dazzling in the eyes of others. She merely carried a single stone, an act so small that people dismissed it entirely. Yet by repeating that small act long enough, she created a path that reached toward the heavens. It became living proof that every remarkable achievement begins with the simplest steps. This story reminds us that we do not need to be the strongest, the smartest, or the most celebrated to reach our dreams. We only need to keep going, to hold on to our belief, and to refuse to abandon our path. Perseverance may be quiet, but it possesses a power that talent alone can never match, one that carries us to heights once thought impossible. The story of Mrs. Lin reminds us that even the smallest efforts, no matter how insignificant they may seem in the moment, are the very first bricks that build the miracles of tomorrow. We don't always see results right away. Often, today's hard work feels like nothing more than a tiny stone on a long journey, tempting us to lose heart or doubt ourselves. But just like the path leading up Heaven Peak, steady, daily accumulation quietly creates something far greater than we imagine. Every act of persistence, every slow step forward, contributes to building your own mountain of success. It isn't perfection nor sudden leaps that shape greatness. It is the power of repetition, the daily consistency that bends limitations and opens paths we once believed were impossible. When we look at Mrs. Lin's small stones, we understand that achievements are not born from a single explosive moment, but from hundreds and thousands of quiet moments carried out over time. As long as we don't give up, the small effort we make today will eventually become the extraordinary accomplishment of tomorrow. Mrs. Lin's journey reminds each of us that we all carry our own stone. A small task, a simple goal, a humble step we need to take every single day. No matter how tiny that effort seems, no matter how slow our progress feels, no matter how many days we grow tired and want to stop, what matters most is that we keep carrying our stone. Don't wait until you feel powerful, inspired, or perfectly ready. Mrs. Lin didn't wait for youth, strength, or ideal conditions. She simply began, and she continued. That quiet consistency is what allowed her to build a path the entire village once believed was impossible. Today, choose to carry your stone, and tomorrow do it again. Maybe it's writing a few lines, studying a small lesson, practicing for a few minutes, or taking one more step toward your dream. These things may seem insignificant, but over time, they will shape a path that will one day surprise you when you look back. As long as you don't stop, one stone a day, you will reach the summit that is meant to be yours. The ending of the story not only honors Mrs. Lin's perseverance, but also affirms a truth that anyone pursuing a dream must remember. Perseverance will always outshine talent. Talent may give you a faster start than others, but only persistence can carry you to the finish line. Small, steady steps will always outlast loud but short-lived bursts of effort. The stone path up Heaven Peak wasn't built by extraordinary strength, it was built by an unwavering heart. That's what makes it a symbol for every human journey. Each slow but steady step, each day of quiet effort, eventually opens a path you never imagined you could reach. So when you face challenges that make you doubt yourself, remember the old woman who carried one small stone up the mountain each day. Believe that as long as you don't give up, every step, no matter how small, is moving you closer to the summit of success. Perseverance is the shortest road from the impossible to the possible.